Hello everybody, I'm Ugly Kid, your host of Based Western Fallout. Now it should be pretty clear by now if you've been following my channel that I'm a fan of Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, and I'm not too particular on the Bethesda made titles, which is ironic seeing as I started with Bethesda before moving on to the other games. Now it's very common for people such as myself to on the Bethesda titles, and for good reason, in my opinion. However, there are aspects to these games which aren't too terribly terrible. So for once I've decided to apply myself to spreading positivity on the internet. I'm going to go over things in a weird order here. I'm going to list what I like about each title in the order I experienced them. Not in release order or personal ranking, just which game I started with first. And if you have a problem with it, you can lick it and jerk it. Fallout Shelter. So, for Fallout Shelter, there really isn't a whole lot to dislike. In fact, I can make a shorter list of things that I do dislike from Shelter. It's a largely inoffensive time killer. You know, I really like how it doesn't touch on the lore in any way, but that's about all I can really comment on Shelter. However, Fallout Shelter Online has more to talk about. You might not even know this title exists, as it's an Asian-exclusive mobile game. Cringe, but you can download an English version through third-party app stores. I've tried it and messed around for a little bit, and it's cool. It has some factions, which are essentially clans, like Clash of Clans. That's kind of fun, right? And there's some cool exclusive characters as well as crossover characters. Now, typically I'm not a fan of Fallout games having crossovers with other games, like the Creation Club, but seeing as Fallout Shelter Online isn't canon, I don't really mind it in this case. I mean, you can literally have the Doomslayer as a vault dweller, you can have a dragon, that's cool. But it's the original characters are where it shines. A cool sapient robot dog, an Institute Deathclaw, a feral glowing one named the Atomic Sun. So many cool shit there. I recommend just going through them on the wiki. And it's a shame we'll likely never see them in a normal Fallout game, but otherwise there isn't really much to talk about with these games. Fallout 4. Now, I look at Fallout 4 through rose-tinted glasses. It was my first proper Fallout game and possibly my most played Fallout game currently. Even after going down the Based Western Fallout pipeline, I still play Fallout 4, so I have a lot to say about this. Settlements. This is many people's biggest gripe with the game, but it was one of the reasons I was drawn into the series. I enjoy base building in video games, I enjoy light colony management, it's fun to make arenas and watch battles that you'd otherwise need mods or console commands to make happen. I enjoy having cool creatures and animals roaming my base, I enjoy having multiple options for a player home, I enjoy being able to send my companions to more than just one location. Speaking of companions, Fallout 4 has some really cool companions and companion functionality. Ooh. The affinity system is a great feature, even if it's slightly overbearing at times. And there are a lot of different options, you know, many different companions for many different play styles or just personalities you might like. Now, they're not all interesting, but the ones that are interesting are really interesting. A lot of guys who are like me hate Piper, but she was the first video game character I ever had digital sex with. Oh, wait, no. I'm just realizing now I played Honey Pop. Whatever. I like having a robot butler. Nick Valentine's the GOAT, and while I've come to dislike Bethesda's handling of FEV and Super Mutants, I still find Strong endearing. Also, I love being able to make your own robot follower. And speaking of robots, there are a lot of artistic changes in Fallout 4 that are bad. However, the robots are not bad. I think the only robot design from the classics that I prefer are the Sentry bots, but even then I love Fallout 4's Sentry bots. And aside from the robots, I actually enjoy the 1950s suburbia and attire. Now, I don't enjoy the, architecture of the classic Goth design getting canceled or getting completely done away with, but I like the other pre-war stuff. And then the power armor, I like elements of the Fallout 4 power armor system. Not all of it, but I like how when you wear it, it feels like you're wearing a vehicle. You feel big in the suit, and that's how it should be. A huge step up from Fallout 3 and New Vegas. I like that there's a frame you can fit with different parts of different models, and I like being able to modify the different pieces. Speaking of, I like being able to modify all your equipment in general. That went a little overboard, but the idea itself is nice. I like modding. And Bethesda was so awesome for not only releasing the creation kit for people to mess around with, but they even added official mod support for consoles. You can play with mods on Xbox and PlayStation. That is so awesome. So many of these mods greatly enhance gameplay, and some are even like as big as official DLCs. Now, Fallout 4's DLCs are a mixed bag, but I can't say I entirely dislike any of them. Far Harbor is written really well, and the best written Bethesda product in decades. Should have been merged into the base game, in my opinion. I could do a whole video on that. Nuka World isn't written as good, but it's fun. Automatron and Vault Tech Workshop really have short quest lines, but being able to make robots and vaults is awesome. And I even like Wasteland Workshop and the Contraptions Workshop. You can set up arenas, factories, and that's just cool. You can make weapon factories, ammo factories, armor factories. Now, I really like how much customizability you get with armor. You can wear a piece on your left leg, on your right arm, the top of your head, your face, eyes, so many variations, and it's really nice to see. Fallout 3. Sorry, I don't like Fallout 3, except Butch Dolores. I haven't played its DLC, so maybe I'll update this video in the future. I've heard those are good. I mean, I know in Broken Steel you have a perk that prevents dog meat from permanently dying. That's cool, I guess. I want to introduce the weapon and armor degradation. That's a cool feature. Fallout 76. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying I haven't played 76 since 2019, and it's currently 2026, so that's 7 years. It's been updated to high hell ever since. I don't know why I wrote that, but I'm sure it's true. I'll list the things I remember and some things I know about despite not playing, however I won't be able to list everything I could potentially like. So, I really like Fallout 76's power armor. It's a little bit different to Fallout 4's. The core mechanics are mostly the same, however you can also pick up a power armor frame and carry it in your inventory. When you need it, you can place it down and enter. That's awesome, because sometimes in Fallout 4 you'll have to just abandon your power armor when you run out of fusion cores. Now you can carry it until you get fuel, or just carry it until it's needed. I don't think it should run on fusion cores, but this is a video about things I like. I also like a lot of the new power armor designs, even if I don't like their lore implications. Now, what I really like about Fallout 76's armor is that you can wear an outfit over top of the armor. No longer are you forced to pick between the best stats and the best aesthetics. You can have both now, and that's something every gamer has always wanted. And I think arguing against this is mostly contrarianism. You're gonna have to suffer the fate of looking like a fucking idiot if you want good stats. Okay, cuck boy. Also, they brought back armor and weapon degradation, which in my opinion is a good thing. Now, Fallout 76 has a lot of really cool creatures, and obviously it focuses a lot on cryptid zoology, which most everyone who's played the game says is one of its strong suits. Each cryptid is just sort of an animal that evolved to survive in a post-nuclear world, which is better than confirming paranormal creatures exist. Then again, Mothman has some paranormal elements, and one of the cryptids is literally just an alien, but whatever. Aside from the cryptids, there are other cool creatures, like Scorched Beasts, the Scorched, the Mole Miners, which in my opinion should make a return in a sequel, and so many other fascinating flora and fauna. Oh, and giant sloths. Now, 76's creatures also manifest in the form of cool bosses. There are quite a few boss NPCs in 76, most of which I haven't encountered since I haven't played in 7 years, but I still look them up on the wiki occasionally. You got the Scorched Beast Queen, the Wendigo Colossus, a giant mole rat, some other ones I've clearly forgotten about. Nonetheless, I think they're very cool. But yeah, I haven't played in years, so there could be even more things I like. I occasionally watch videos from Epic Nate, where he covers paranormal / eldritch stuff in the Fallout franchise. A lot of his information comes from Fallout 76. I'm not gonna lie, while I don't like having straight up ghosts or magic in the setting, I actually think the eldritch stuff is cool and fitting, so long as it's left vague. And I'd argue Bethesda does a good enough job of keeping the eldritch stuff vague, enough to be passed off as non-magical. Then again, put me, the Unity in Fallout 1 has psychers, straight up, so at least some degree of magic has always been in the setting, but it's better left hidden. The TV show. Now, I really don't like the TV show for a lot of reasons. However, that isn't what this video is for, so instead I'll frickin' talk about things I like, I guess. I think the show's prop team and costume designers do a really good job for most things. I think their power armor is goofy looking, but otherwise everything else is fantastic. The props and costumes, they really feel like they jumped right out of Bethesda's Fallout, which is what they're going for. I think one particular moment in Season 1, Episode 1 is awesome. It's when the raiders invade the vaults and this dude jams the barrel of his gun through a vault dweller's mouth and shoots through his head at other vault dwellers. That was just a really fun visual. Now, the characters have actually grown on me quite a bit, In Season 1, I couldn't care less about any of them, least of all the ghoul, who in my opinion had a very forced coolness factor. But by the end of Season 2, I do like them. Most of all, I like the boyfriend from Superstore, and I'm really curious to see his development in the show. I like how Season 2 seems to have understood some of the criticisms from Season 1, namely their portrayal of House, Vault Tech dropping the bombs, and the nuking of Shady Sands, which ultimately led to the NCR becoming nothing. They fixed House's characterization for the most part, and they've brought back the NCR. They even added a meta line about that decision, poking fun at themselves. Show the line. If the NCR is able to further develop to at least their level of power seen in Fallout 2, then I won't mind the nuking of Shady Sands as much. It's just one hurdle across their levied history. I still have a lot of issues with the show's creative decisions, but it seems the showrunners do listen to some criticism, which is good. And while many people who hate the show, like myself, really dislike the Vault plotlines, for some reason I like them a lot. I don't know, they just seem inoffensive and a fun break from the ongoings of the surface. I really want to see what happens with that Canadian chick and the dude who is like Vault Tech Messiah or something. But yeah, there you have it, spreading some positivity for a change. While I generally disagree with a lot of the creative decisions over at Bethesda, I can at least acknowledge its merits. There are many, but there are some. So with that said, I'm Ugly Kid of Base Western Fallout, and this was the things I like from Bethesda's Fallout. Be sure to catch up my follow-up video, Things I Hate About Bethesda's Fallout. Peace, y'all.